I'm glad to have this opportunity to provide an update on the projects we're involved in and the thinking behind the International Committee's actions at the present time. First, I'm very happy to say that the Solomon saga appears to have been resolved. Even after the most high-level representations from our club, nothing seemed to happen, but I'm not quite sure what happened. Perhaps it was William's last visit, which did the trick. I'm not sure. Have you got any photos?
No, not at the moment.
No, okay. Maybe it's still going. So we've taken that off our books at long last. But let me say that this project showed, yet again, that activities in the Pacific region are seldom straightforward, and that as a club we need to show a mix of patience and firmness in ensuring that our funds are at all times under full control. Secondly, the committee's major focus continued to be on the dental project at Kokori in the Gulf province of Papua New Guinea. The project followed strict lines and follows strict lines. Attachment to an established medical facility, the involvement of the dental authorities in Papua New Guinea itself. These were mainly in the University of Papua New Guinea. The incentive we held out for the dental faculty was that the project would produce employment of their graduates at a reasonable salary in Papua New Guinea, and they were quick to take the point. A further line of action was to ensure that we had involvement in the project outside Papua New Guinea, and I have to say that the Australians have been particularly good at coming to the aid of this particular project. We wondered whether it was perhaps the fact that they're the previous colonial authority and still feel somewhat guilty about the performance, but nevertheless they're very helpful. But the key factor in the project is, of course, our former member Jenny Lean. Jenny works tirelessly at keeping the project moving, even when things look particularly daunting. In this respect, it was critical to engage the Singaporean Exploration Group to support the project, which they've done, and very well indeed. This was a great effort on Jenny's part. I can say that the project has been a huge success. The young graduate dentist has established a well-deserved reputation in the area. She travels widely, carrying out a pretty good range of dental work, and we ensure that she gets a bit of relief and recreation by doing short courses with fully fledged dentists elsewhere. Kokori has never really been Kokori has...
Bit of toothache, I think.
Kokori is noted for not noticed as a health spa. The incidence of malaria, TB, AIDS, and a daunting range of skin diseases makes R&R for our person on the spot to get away as far as possible and as often as possible. Our overall contribution to the project is around $15,000, with perhaps a further $3,000 in the coming year. It's not a bad outlay for a project that is now valued at well over $80,000. But it's important that we look ahead, and my concern has been to ensure that we're involved with people, in particular the training of people. Our latest focus has been on Samoa, with the target area being trade training. With the invaluable involvement of Dean Minchington, Nick Hurley, the former High Commissioner to Samoa, and Carol Stigley, we're putting together a program designed to train cooks for the growing Samoan tourist industry. Our discussions currently revolve around designing a program which is within our budget capabilities, is viable, and projects our credibility as the senior Rotary Club of New Zealand. We will hear more about this project from my successor as chair of the committee, my former colleague, Nick Hurley. A final word. As publicity becomes more important and becomes more technologically complex, and we seek to project ourselves in the up-to-date modern organisation, we must be capable of meeting the new high-tech requirements. I mention this because an article I wrote for Rotary Down Under was relegated in priority due to the inadequate quality of our photos. This is something for the next board to think about, because regrettably, in the current phase of New Zealand's development, the medium very much is the message, and other clubs, often with less justification, are beating us to the punch. Perhaps there's a gap in our membership profile, but it's an area we need to make progress on and see that we have people that can actually implement what we require. I thank President Tony for his continuing interest, and also to our Treasurer Wayne Morgan, who always lent a sympathetic ear to my requests for finance. I'm also very grateful to the board itself for their forbearance, and to the International Committee, who turned up in surprising numbers to discuss and review our activities. Thank you very much.